Every sunrise brings with it a new opportunity, not just to live, but to awaken. Too often we move through life carrying the weight of yesterday, the fears of tomorrow, and the illusions that hold us back from truly seeing ourselves. But today, this very moment is different. Today you have the chance to realign, to meet your own soul, and to step into the self that has been waiting patiently behind the masks you've worn. You may feel uncertainty, you may feel discomfort. That is the invitation. The cracks in your life are not failures, they are openings. They are the doorways through which your new self can emerge. Fear is merely a shadow, a reflection of the unexamined parts of your being. Do not run from it, stand in it, observe it, integrate it. Your thoughts shape your reality, but your inner alignment shapes your destiny. When your heart, mind, and spirit speak the same language, life no longer feels like a battle. The external world begins to mirror the harmony you cultivate within. Patterns that once repeated endlessly, drawing you into cycles of frustration, begin to dissolve. You are no longer a passenger, you are the creator. This is not about perfection, this is about honesty. It is about seeing yourself clearly with compassion and stepping into the version of you that has always existed, waiting for permission to rise. Your new day, your new self is not somewhere out there. It is here within you now. Align, embrace, and let your transformation ripple outward. Do not wait, do not hesitate. The universe is always moving, always evolving, and so are you. Today is your threshold. Walk through it consciously. Breathe into your fear, stretch into your potential, and honor the unfolding journey of the self that is ready to shine. Your new day is not a promise. It is a choice. And that choice begins with you. Every moment is an opportunity for transformation. Life does not pause, it moves forward in an unbroken current, and each instant carries within it the potential for change, growth, and renewal. Too often, we underestimate the power of a single moment, believing that transformation is something distant, something that requires a dramatic shift or a monumental decision. Yet the truth is far simpler and more profound. Transformation begins in the awareness of the present. Every breath we take, every thought we entertain, every choice we make has the capacity to shift the trajectory of our lives. It is within the ordinary, the everyday, that the seeds of the extraordinary are sown. When we recognize that every moment is a doorway, we begin to see life differently. Challenges are no longer obstacles, they are invitations to evolve. A difficult conversation, a delay, a failure, or even a fleeting emotion can serve as a mirror, reflecting aspects of ourselves that need attention, understanding, and healing. Moments of discomfort are not punishments. They are signals that something within us is ready to transform. By attending to these signals, rather than avoiding them, we actively participate in our own growth. Transformation is not reserved for rare occasions or milestones. It is happening constantly, in every heartbeat, in every interaction, and in every decision to respond rather than react. The opportunity for transformation is amplified by presence. When we live fully in the moment, we notice the subtle lessons that life offers. A glance, a word, a silence. These can all carry profound insights if we are attentive. Each moment contains the blueprint for a new way of being, but only if we are willing to look closely, to reflect, and to act consciously. By cultivating awareness, we begin to understand that transformation is not an endpoint but a continuous process. Life is a dynamic flow, and each moment is an opportunity to refine, expand, and elevate ourselves. Transformation also requires courage. It requires the willingness to let go of old patterns, to release habitual thoughts and behaviors that no longer serve us, and to step into the unknown with trust. Each moment is a choice, to remain in comfort, to stay bound by past conditioning, or to embrace growth even when it feels uncertain. When we choose growth, we open ourselves to possibilities that were previously unseen. We begin to understand that every experience, whether joyful or painful, is a building block for a greater self. Transformation is not sudden, it is cumulative, a series of intentional steps taken in the awareness of the present moment. The realization that every moment is an opportunity for transformation is liberating. It removes the pressure of waiting for a perfect time, a perfect circumstance, or a perfect condition. Life itself is the perfect condition, and now is the perfect time. By treating each moment as sacred and purposeful, we cultivate a life of meaning, presence, and authentic growth. Each choice, each action, each thought becomes a brushstroke on the canvas of our evolving self. Transformation is not something we pursue far away, it is something we inhabit moment by moment with awareness, courage, and openness. Fear and discomfort are not enemies to be avoided. They are signposts on the path of growth, essential companions on the journey toward becoming your fullest self. Most of us have been taught to resist fear, to push it aside, and to seek comfort above all else. Yet this instinct, while understandable, limits the depth of our experience and the magnitude of our transformation. Fear exists not to paralyze us, but to illuminate the edges of our awareness, revealing the boundaries of our courage, our beliefs, and our potential. Discomfort, likewise, signals that change is occurring, that old structures within us are being questioned, and that a deeper understanding is waiting to emerge. To embrace fear and discomfort is to recognize them not as threats, but as teachers, guiding us toward the self we are capable of becoming. When we face fear directly, we discover its true nature. It is often smaller, quieter, and less dangerous than our imagination first suggested. Fear is a messenger, pointing to areas of resistance, insecurity, or unresolved inner conflict. It calls our attention to what we have avoided, what we have denied, or what we have yet to confront. By leaning into fear, naming it, and observing it without judgment, we transform it from an obstacle into an ally. Fear becomes a mirror, reflecting both the limitations we have accepted and the courage we are capable of summoning. Discomfort functions in much the same way. Every moment of unease, every challenge that shakes our sense of stability is an opportunity to stretch beyond the familiar, to expand our tolerance for uncertainty, and to grow stronger from experience. Embracing fear and discomfort requires a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing these sensations as negative, we can see them as evidence of life unfolding, as signals that we are moving toward authenticity and alignment. When we avoid fear, we also avoid the lessons and insights it brings. When we seek only comfort, we limit our growth and numb the vitality of our own experience. True transformation is always accompanied by discomfort because it demands that we leave behind old habits, outdated beliefs, and conditioned ways of reacting. Each step into the unknown carries with it the tension of uncertainty, yet it is precisely within this tension that real growth occurs. The practice of embracing fear and discomfort is not about recklessness or self-punishment. It is about conscious courage, mindful awareness, and deliberate engagement with life. It is about noticing the tightness in the chest, the hesitation in the mind, or the trembling in the body, and responding with curiosity rather than avoidance. Over time, this practice cultivates resilience, strengthens the mind, and expands the capacity for joy. The very things that once seemed threatening begin to serve as bridges to freedom, self-mastery, a deeper connection with the essence of who we are. To embrace fear and discomfort is to step fully into the human experience, to honor both shadow and light, and to recognize that transformation is never comfortable. It asks for patience, persistence, and courage, yet the rewards are immeasurable. Every encounter with fear and every moment of discomfort carries the potential to awaken strength, wisdom, and clarity. By embracing them, we reclaim our power, affirm our presence in the world, and open the door to a life of authenticity, purpose, and profound growth. Inner alignment shapes external reality in ways more profound than we often realize. Most people look outward for change, believing that success, happiness, or fulfillment must first appear in their external circumstances. Yet, the truth is that the outer world is a mirror of the inner world. The thoughts we hold, the emotions we nurture, and the intentions we set all ripple outward, shaping the experiences, relationships, and opportunities we attract. When our mind, heart, and spirit are in harmony, life begins to flow with a sense of ease and coherence, as though the universe itself is responding to our inner resonance. Misalignment, on the other hand, creates tension, struggle, and resistance, revealing through external circumstances the internal disharmony that has yet to be addressed. Alignment is not about perfection or suppressing emotions, it is about awareness, acceptance, and conscious choice. When we acknowledge the beliefs, fears, and desires that govern our actions, we gain the ability to direct our energy intentionally rather than reactively. This conscious alignment transforms how we interact with the world. A person who has reconciled their inner conflicts communicates more clearly, makes decisions with confidence, and approaches challenges with calm resolve. Their external reality begins to reflect this inner state because the energy they project attracts circumstances that resonate with it. Every encounter, every opportunity, and every obstacle is filtered through the lens of this alignment, revealing patterns that support growth, connection, and fulfillment. Inner alignment also requires honesty with oneself. It calls for recognizing the parts of the self that have been ignored, denied, or suppressed. By facing these aspects with compassion rather than judgment, we integrate them into a more complete sense of identity. This integration dissolves internal friction, releasing the energy that was previously spent on resistance, anxiety, or self-sabotage. As this internal coherence grows, our external life becomes less a battlefield and more a reflection of our inner clarity. Situations that once seemed chaotic begin to organize themselves, relationships deepen, and opportunities appear that align with our true purpose. The universe does not reward struggle as much as it responds to resonance. It reflects the energy that is consistently emitted from within. The practice of inner alignment involves reflection, mindfulness, and deliberate action. It is cultivated through meditation, journaling, conscious breathing, or simply pausing to observe the self in moments of decision. Each small act of alignment compounds over time, creating a foundation for a reality that mirrors our authentic intentions. The more we align with our core values, desires, and truth, the more life aligns with us. By tending to our inner world with care, awareness, and intentionality, we hold the power to transform the outer world. Life ceases to be a struggle against forces beyond our control and becomes a reflection of the harmony we cultivate within, proving again and again that the reality we inhabit is a direct expression of the alignment we nurture inside. Patterns are invitations to evolve, a language that life speaks to guide us toward growth and greater awareness. Often we see repeating circumstances, recurring emotions, or familiar conflicts as mere coincidences, as if life is happening randomly around us. Yet these patterns are never accidental. They are reflections of unresolved aspects of ourselves. They are mirrors showing us where we remain unaware, where old habits hold sway, and where growth is present with wisdom. They often emerge from unresolved emotional wounds, lingering regrets, or unprocessed experiences. Each repetition provides an opportunity to revisit these moments, to approach them with understanding, and to release the attachments that keep us bound. As we engage with patterns consciously, we reclaim the energy that was previously trapped in unconscious cycles, transforming it into creative force, clarity, and growth. Recurring events then become a kind of choreography, a rhythm guiding us towards self-mastery rather than a chaotic sequence of misfortunes. Recognizing patterns requires patience and presence. It demands that we slow down, reflect, and listen deeply to the signals life is sending us. It also calls for courage, because facing recurring patterns often reveals uncomfortable truths about ourselves. Yet it is precisely in confronting these truths that evolution occurs. Each time we respond to a pattern with awareness rather than habit, we step into a higher level of consciousness. What once seemed repetitive and frustrating becomes purposeful and illuminating. Ultimately, patterns are life's invitations to evolve, to grow beyond old limitations, and to embrace the full spectrum of our potential. They are not obstacles to be avoided, but maps guiding us toward clarity, mastery, and authentic expression. By engaging with them consciously, we transform repetition into insight, struggle into understanding, and life itself into a teacher of infinite wisdom. Honest self-recognition is the key to change, the gateway through which transformation becomes possible. So often we look outward for answers, blaming circumstances, other people, or fate for the challenges Yet real change does not originate in the external world. It begins within. To see ourselves honestly is to illuminate both the light and the shadow within, to acknowledge our strengths and weaknesses, our desires and fears, and the patterns that shape our life. Without this clarity, attempts at change are superficial at best, like rearranging the surface of a room while leaving the foundation untouched. True transformation demands that we meet ourselves fully, without excuses, without denial, and without distortion. Honest self-recognition requires courage, because it asks us to confront aspects of ourselves that we may prefer to ignore. It asks us to examine the habits, beliefs, and emotions that have controlled our decisions, even when they have caused pain or limitation. We must be willing to see the ways we have resisted growth, repeated mistakes, or acted from fear rather than authenticity. This process is not about self-criticism or judgment. It is about observation and acknowledgement. It is about taking responsibility for the role we play in our own life, understanding how our internal state creates our external reality, and embracing the possibility of change that lies within that awareness. Self-recognition is also a practice of honesty with our emotions. Too often we suppress feelings that are uncomfortable or inconvenient, pushing them aside in the hope that they will disappear. Yet these unacknowledged emotions accumulate and manifest in subtle ways, shaping our thoughts, decisions, and interactions. By honestly naming what we feel, anger, fear, grief, or desire, we bring these hidden forces into the light, allowing them to be understood, integrated, and transformed. This emotional clarity is a prerequisite for meaningful action, because only when we understand the source of our motivations can we choose to act consciously rather than reactively. Another aspect of honest self-recognition is confronting the stories we tell ourselves. We often carry narratives about who we are, what we deserve, and what is possible in our lives. These narratives, if unexamined, dictate our choices and limit our potential. By seeing these stories for what they are, beliefs rather than absolute truths, we free ourselves from their constraints. We begin to question old assumptions, release limiting beliefs, and open space for new possibilities. In this way, self-recognition is not a static acknowledgement of the self, but a dynamic process that creates the conditions for evolution and growth. Ultimately, honest self-recognition is a transformative act of courage and clarity. It aligns us with reality as it truly is, rather than how we wish it to be, and it empowers us to take intentional steps toward change. Without it, efforts at transformation are incomplete, scattered, and unsustainable. With it, we gain insight, self-mastery, and the ability to shape our lives consciously. Every breakthrough, every step forward, every meaningful change begins with the simple, yet profound, act of seeing oneself clearly, fully, and honestly. Transformation is a conscious choice, an intentional step into the life we desire rather than a passive drift through the circumstances that surround us. Too often people wait for change to arrive, believing that a shift in fortune, an external event, or the intervention of others will bring them the growth they seek. Yet transformation is not granted, it is claimed. It begins the moment we recognize our own power to decide, to act, and to shape our reality from the inside out. Every meaningful change in life is preceded by this awareness, the understanding that we are not mere spectators in our journey, but active participants, capable of steering our lives in alignment with our deepest values and aspirations. Making transformation a conscious choice requires clarity of vision. It requires that we know who we want to become, not in vague terms, but with specificity and intention. Without this clarity, efforts at change are scattered, inconsistent, and easily swayed by external pressures. When we define our path and commit to it, Transformation becomes a deliberate act rather than a reaction to circumstance. It is the decision to prioritize growth over comfort, awareness over avoidance, and courage over fear. Every choice we make, no matter how small, either moves us closer to our desired self or maintains the status quo. Transformation is the accumulation of these conscious decisions, repeated with focus, consistency, and resolve. This choice also demands responsibility. To choose transformation is to accept full accountability for our actions, emotions, and thoughts. It means acknowledging that while we cannot control every event or every person, we can control how we respond. It is the recognition that change begins within, and that the world we inhabit is a reflection of the choices we make in alignment with our inner truth. By taking responsibility, we reclaim our power from the forces of circumstance and habit, and we step into the authority of conscious creation. Transformation, as a conscious choice, also involves persistence in the face of resistance. Change is rarely linear. It comes with discomfort, setbacks, and moments of doubt. Yet the choice to transform is renewed every day, every hour, every moment. We are willing to act with awareness rather than passivity. This daily recommitment transforms life from a series of random events into a structured journey guided by intention. Each conscious decision, no matter how small, compounds over time, creating momentum that carries us forward, shaping not just our behavior but our perception, energy, and the very reality we experience. Finally, recognizing transformation as a conscious choice empowers us to live authentically. It allows us to move beyond patterns, fears, and limiting beliefs that once dictated our lives, and to step fully into the self we were always meant to become. It transforms life from a passive experience into a canvas for creation, a continuous exercise of free will guided by clarity, purpose, and intentionality. Every step, every decision, every action becomes meaningful when seen as part of this conscious process, proving that the power to evolve lies not in chance, but in the deliberate, courageous choice to embrace change, cultivate awareness, and shape the future from the present moment. So now, as you stand at the edge of this moment, know this: your new day, your new self, is not somewhere in the future. It is here, within you, waiting to be awakened. Every moment is an opportunity for transformation. Every fear and discomfort a doorway to courage. Every pattern a guide to wisdom. When you recognize yourself honestly and align your inner world with your intentions, the outer world cannot help but reflect the harmony you cultivate within. Transformation is not something that happens to you. It is a choice you make consciously, moment by moment. And as you choose it, the person you were yesterday begins to dissolve, replaced by the self you were always meant to become. So step forward. Lean into the discomfort, face the fear, honor the patterns, and speak your truth with clarity. Align your heart, mind, and spirit. Own your power. This is your threshold. Beyond it lies the life you have been waiting for. The life that unfolds when you no longer resist, when you no longer wait, when you no longer settle for less than your true potential. Take this moment, breathe into it, step fully into the new day, into the new self, and let the transformation ripple through every aspect of your life. The choice is yours, and it begins now.